the time that I was in high school, a lot of my cousins had gotten into engineering and medicine. So that was also a trend in the general family, like most Indian families, you go for something professional. Science was therefore seen as an extension of engineering or medicine. No one really paused to say that this is a different thing, that, you can actually do PhD and, sort of that PhD is a thing. I didn't know all of those. And then I did see, as I went for my master's, I met again few family members who were professors, lecturers. And then I was like, okay, this is something one can do, that, after BSc you can do MSc and then you can do PhD and then you become a professor and so on and so forth. So it all came very slowly to me. But I never had, touch wood, because my parents are absolutely amazing this way. As a girl or as a woman, they've never pushed me in anything. The only criteria was that you have to be independent. And that also means financial independence. So do whatever, but it has to get you a salary at the end of the day. The quantity of the salary doesn't matter, but you cannot be dependent on your husband for anything because you never know. And the way they thought about it was that, accidents happen, you may have to bear the family on your own and you should be capable. So my parents were very practical that way. So they never stopped me from choosing any field. Of course, after 12th, they expected, I think, that I will go to medicine. I chose not to, and engineering was not something I was really interested in. So when I took basic science, BSc, my father was like, fine, you can still do something with it. I'm sure you'll figure it out. So I was given the independence to choose. And in that sense, I have to say, in hindsight, given the kind of person I am, that helped me. Because I kind of like that independence. I feel like there are people, again, at least from the experience I have with students, there are at least two types of people. One who like to be mentored and one who like that independence and that freedom. I am that second kind, that I think if you mentored me too much, it may backfire, it may not work. And I think when I'm allowed to sort of work it out on my own, it works better for me. So that's what happened with me, that when I was given a choice to pick the subject and I just sort of flourished. So science, therefore, kind of was there in the background. It was not alien to me, but it was new to me that I made a career out of it. That is still, in fact, kind of surprising in my larger family. In fact, I remember when I went to the US for my PhD, and you come back for the summer vacation or something. Because again, the larger family, South Indian group is that, you have engineers and doctors. And I remember a lot of my aunts, would introduce me like, she went to US with a BSc MSc. That was the statement, which means that with BSMS, you can't go to the US. So that, if your aim was to go to the US, it was like she went to America, with a BSc and MSc. And then and BSc in botany and MSc in botany, which means you're really low class citizen, but you made it. And I had to kind of so the first few years it was amusing. And then I had to say that, look, I am good in what I'm doing, which is why I made it to the US in a grad school. And there is a world outside of, engineering and medicine. And guess what? It was so interesting that after a couple of years of me doing PhD, I had younger cousins of mine who, again, same crossroad, don't want to do engineering or medicine, want to do BSc, MSc, but weren't sure because of this whole, how we have this thing, you have to know where you're going. You need to know what you're going to get. You need to know your salary package at the end of it. And they started coming to me and saying can you please advise and etc. And I became that person in my larger family who would be like, no, sciences is a thing. You can make a career out of it. And quite 2 or 3 of my cousins, in fact, one who's one of my favorite cousins, she went into dairy technology. And because she was still kind of felt that she needed a tech in her degree, so she did dairy technology, but she did dairy technology B.Tech and then M.Tech. And now she's a professional in a food industry, and extremely, she's unique in her own, caliber. And only when she was doing masters, she realized every product that you eat, Amul or any packaged food you're eating, is not an engineer. It's a BSc, MSc person like you and me, who has chosen the right bachelor's program and gone ahead to be, a manager in this industry. So this perception is so wrong that, BSc, MSc has no, career and has no scope in mainstream jobs. So right now, I think luckily, like because of my example and few others, I feel that science is seen as something that is viable. That there is, it's sustainable. You can have a family. So science in that sense is the influence was there, but again, that kind of weaves into the first question you asked about accidental scientists, that I really didn't know, because we just didn't know. That's just a matter of fact, and that's a reality of that time. And hopefully, podcasts like this will change that reality, because we want science to be made more accessible. And of course, I survived, but I also think many must have died, in the process, because they didn't know, they would have dropped out. And I think it's our job as IISERs that, we propagate that science has a career and also an interest. I mean, we're doing it out of our interest. I'm doing plants because I like it. It's not something just because I need a job.